I was wondering if you were going to do a parody of my song, Like a Virgin.
I think Madonna's a bad influence on you.
What?
No offense.
Hello friends, my name is Stevie Cade, and welcome to Film Trigger. Weird, the Al Yankovic story has just landed on Roku, which is odd and annoying. But yes, this very mysterious film has finally landed on Roku, and I've been very curious to watch it. I mean, you got Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al Yankovic, which was an odd choice, but I think it was a very good choice, and we'll dive into that here in just a moment. But first, if you could, hit that like, thumbs up button, that subscribe button, and the little bell ding thing so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Without further ado, let's dive into my review for this wonderful movie, Weird, the Al Yankovic story.
Oh, Al, you can't smoke in here.
I grew up with Weird Al being embedded into my DNA. I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, which was definitely a huge time for Weird Al. I was very interested to see how this biographical film would come to light, how it will play off in a movie-like setting, and I'll tell you what, I really loved it. So let's dive into this 100% true biographical film of Weird Al, and let's talk about the things I do like about this movie. The cast. I thought the cast was very stellar, and there's almost not a celebrity from the 70s and 80s that isn't in this movie. And the fact that they play themselves in this movie shows you how true they want to stick to the nature, to the story of Weird Al Yankovic, which is something that honestly we missed the beat on when it comes to these biographical sort of films. But they pulled it off, again, by bringing back all the original musicians and artists to play themselves in this movie. Just adds to the realism that this movie is trying to show when it comes to Weird Al's story. I mean, you have Dr. Demento, you have Oprah Winfrey, Hulk Hogan, Wolfman Jack, Pee Wee Herman, Andy Warhol, John Deacon, Alice Cooper, Gallagher. I mean, even Pablo Escobar makes a cameo in this movie. And I thought that was a wonderful touch. But there are a few characters in this movie that needed actors to play their role because, well, number one, either that character no longer with us or they're legally on the run and can't be in the movie without being arrested. Like Madonna. Evan Rachel Wood playing the disgusting Madonna. Wow. What a task to bring on. I mean, how hard it has to be to play this monstrous character. I mean, even Evan Peters, who plays in Dahmer, can't even hold a candle to how gross it must have been to play this character. Because this movie exposes Madonna for what she is, and that is a murderous, money-grubbing bitch.
Do I know you?
Madonna, I was wondering if you were going to do a parody of my song, Like a Virgin.
And Evan Rachel Wood really immersed herself into this role and showed us how a disgusting person like Madonna can manipulate an artist like Al Yankovic.
I'm curious, is that song autobiographical?
Yes. Except for the fact that I've had a lot of sex.
She comes across as sinister, very selfish, and it's just really all about her. Evan Rachel Wood played this character to a fucking T and showed the world just how horrible Madonna really is.
Could there be anyone stupider than me?
Madonna?
Oh, yeah, she's pretty stupid. That's something we can all agree on, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Francis?
Oh, major idiot.
Daniel Radcliffe. Now, since the passing of Weird Al in 1985, you know, the world has been without humor. It hasn't had a big smile on its face. But Daniel Radcliffe has given us a reason to smile again. We finally get to some sort of essence of Weird Al back in our lives after the tragedy of 1985. He not only does so in his very high energetic delivery of his performance, but also in his physique. Daniel Radcliffe worked really hard to get his body chiseled, just like Weird Al's was back in the day. And that shows a lot of devotion to the character. And I really tip my hat off to Daniel Radcliffe for putting so much into this role.
My little hungry one, open up a package of my banana.
Another thing I really enjoy about this movie is its accuracy. As I said before, a lot of these biographical films kind of all seem the same. You know, they kind of hit the same notes, hit the same beats, and that's because these movies move storylines around and like add characters and take away characters for dramatic purposes, but not this movie. No, this movie sticks 100% to the true story of Weird Al, and I really appreciate that aspect of it. Appel, who directed this movie, really stuck to the true timeline of Weird Al. Can't wait to see more from this director because he knows exactly how to tell a true story. You don't have to change things up. You don't have to lie to the audience to make an entertaining biographical film. And this movie proves that.
You're all just a bunch of normals. I'm the weird one.
You gotta take care of yourself.
I saw in you something special. An artist with something to give to the world.
He even brings to light stuff I didn't even know. Like Michael Jackson's Beat It was a parody of Weird Al's Eat It. I really thought it was the other way around. And the world made me think it was the other way around. But Michael Jackson has been exposed for stealing Weird Al's song and just changing the lyrics. I don't know who thinks they can get away with something like that. It's a very disgusting way to steal somebody's art and material, but I guess Michael Jackson got away with it until now, buddy. You've now been exposed in this very 100% accurate biographical film. I'm glad they did. I'm glad they showed your true colors to the world, man. This movie brings truths like this to the forefront, to the surface. The story was masterfully told and showed us the pleasant and unpleasant experiences that Weird Al had to go through to become the icon and legend that he actually is. I mean, even diving deep into the separation of like how his parents didn't accept him for who he was.
Your dad and I agreed it will be best if you just stop being who you are and doing the things you love.
And he never understood that. And then we dive deeper into that just to find out Weird Al is a successful version of his father who tried to be parody, comedic sort of songwriter and failed and didn't want his son to fail. And that's why he was so hard on him. But the truth comes out where we learn that his dad not only was Amish, but wrote Amish Paradise as his last ditch effort to write a comical song. But he was never accepted for it. And thank God Weird Al found the lyrics to that song, because we have that song, it exists. Now we know the true story behind it and how that song is really just a love letter to his father. I mean, this movie in general is a love letter to cinema and music and to Weird Al. Oh my God. My life's changed after watching this. It really has. Like, I have to rethink how I see Weird Al from the 80s. That's what this movie has done.
My whole life. All I wanted.
I'm afraid we found your son at a polka party.
Now, I can go on and on and on about the accuracy of this movie and how that plays into what I love about this film. And to be honest with you, I don't really have anything that I'm on the fence about when it comes to this movie, because it's all just really good. And the stuff I have to complain about is not even really a critique on the movie itself as much as just a critique on the people that surrounded Weird Al Yankovic's orbit in his life. I mean, this movie really exposed people for what they really, truly are. And with that said, I'm going to dive into what I don't like about this movie. And what I don't like is learning how the music industry takes advantage of its original artists like Weird Al Yankovic and tries to use them to propel their own careers, to get that Weird Al bump. Man, maybe Weird Al will do a parody of my song so I can sell more of my records.
I love it.
Has taken the world by storm.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You know, I hear horror stories about the music scene, but this is the cherry on top of this fucked up cake, man. I mean, these musicians are literally hanging on the coattails of Weird Al, using his material to bump themselves up, to make themselves look better, off his hard work, off his creativity. And that is absolutely disgusting. And nobody does it worse than fucking Madonna. Fuck you, Madonna. This sneaky cunt does not deserve to be roaming free after what she did to Weird Al Yankovic. And I don't know where you are, Madonna, but we're gonna find you. This world needs to bring you to justice. I mean, number one, the guy is a fucking genius, and she's trying to keep him from writing original music so she can get another bump on the charts. Again, that's not just her, that's a whole bunch of other musicians, but she goes the extra fucking mile. She has no care or concern for human life. She force-fed Weird Al alcohol, sent him into a spiral of chaos and depression that almost killed himself, even could have killed others.
One creative genius that doesn't have a checkered past involving alcohol.
That's the medicine.
I think Madonna's a bad influence on you. What? No offense.
And then when Madonna finally elevates into the drug cartel and taking over the cartel, and she can only do that off the back of the bravery of Weird Al Yankovic killing Pablo Escobar himself. In order to save Madonna, she uses that power, fueled by greed and spite, to kill him, to murder, to assassinate Weird Al on stage. God, what a fucking tragedy. You took this man away from all of us. And you took this bright world and turned it dark with your selfish and cowardly actions. And I will never forgive you, Madonna. Now, there is kind of a petty point I do have when it comes to this movie, because I thought this movie did very well, as I said before, bringing back all these original musicians and artists to play themselves in this movie. But there's one character in this movie, and I couldn't quite figure out who this person was. I tried to do research on it. I don't know who it is. At first, I thought this was Bruce Campbell, but I don't really know who this guy is. He's not in the credits. If anybody knows who this is, let me know in the comments below. I'm not going to critique the movie over it. It's a glossed over detail in an otherwise very thought out film. Overall, I thought this 100% true biographical film of Weird Al was powerful. It was heart-wrenching. It was emotional. It was funny. And most of all, it was honest. The music and art community gathered together to tell this epic true story, not only to expose the people that need to be exposed, but also to celebrate, perhaps not the best, but arguably the most famous accordion player in an extremely specific genre of music. And for these reasons, I'm giving this movie the highest grade I've ever given a movie, and that's an A++.
That was wonderful. Bravo. I loved that. Oh, it was great.
That's right. Weird, the Al Yankovic story, got the highest grade I've ever given in Film Trigger, and it deserves it. I don't know about you, but I was completely moved by this movie. I thought this story just didn't hold back. It told the truth. It did exactly what it needed to do, and it showed us the dark world surrounding this beautiful man, Weird Al Yankovic. What are your thoughts about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. Spoilers all around. Did it touch you as much as it did me, or are you a monster like Madonna? Let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out some more of my videos. And as always, stay weird, my friends. Peace.
But first, we gotta find you a stage name. Al Yankovic. It's long, it's hard to pronounce. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. Weird Al Yankovic.
I love it.